heart stopped when I saw the document. They were planning to detonate a bomb at the peace
Oh
ceremony.
my god, not at the peace ceremony. Ugh.
Blow up. Their plans are incredibly forthright.
You know what's the best way to get everyone in the world to be peaceful? A peace ceremony. It's like the most idealistic freaking
What is it?
government.
Well, they've been at war since the start of the series, so if the actual faction... Oh my god. It's the bad guy.
It was Malice.
His name is Malice?
His voice from
Yeah, General Malice.
Is he...
He is a Saturday morning cartoon.
Is he like Maleficent's like twice removed brother or something?
Seriously, this guy is a cartoon character.
Okay, I don't really like to draw this sort of conclusion considering how overused it is, but he does give me the sort of tone of M. Bison.
Oh god.
Oh my god, he materialized TNT onto the statue.
Yeah, so Plastro, they actually call a peace ceremony and this guy wants the war to keep going. And his reasons are really shitty, but you'll come to learn them later on.
Cause war is fun. We need sequels. Lots of sequels.
Even though this will effectively kill the series in a few years. I think like 2 Army Men games have come out after this one, and like they're 4 years apart.
I think his poor reasons are justified, because as you can tell by his eyes, he's blazed off his ass right now.
That's actually a good reason. Holy shit, I am so high. Well, I don't know, if he was high off his ass, he wouldn't want to start a war, he'd probably just want to sit back and listen to some music. This is like the worst drug. Besides, he's not a tan, he's kind of really a red. Here's the peace sign, look at Plastro, how, of course it's not Nazi Germany, that is a fucking Cuban cigar. It's like the peace ceremony, that the war that's been going on for maybe over a decade at this point, and only 50 people turn up. I bet most were against it.
Well, because, you know, what are they gonna do after the war is over? Go back and live their life? Their life is war. I'm sure they actually built their cities not out of, you know, not to suit civilization, but just a strategically pre-planned war.
I've just kind of realised another thing about all the games I've recorded. Actually, is considering mostly I've recorded Max Payne for this channel. How come the games I record seem to be about people who seem to be about a protagonist who's lost near enough everyone or someone very important to them and is therefore hell-bent on revenge? God damn it.
Yeah, but this doesn't have... And goddamn, it's like Megan Fox in Transformers 2. She still looks pristine. She just got freaking blasted by an explosion, and come on, plastic is not an excuse here. She must use some kind of...
Of course they're not going to dance after the peace ceremony. Her legs have met.
She's been soldered to the ground, literally.
It's a good thing I found a pile of corpses to scream over.
I like to think that after he walks down from that, Shadow takes his turn.
Now you can go. Oh, and his little hunky shoes. Yeah, look, a title drop. I like the fact he wrote this down.
I can't wait to upload this to fanfiction.net after the game.
Urgh. Maybe he didn't actually go and kill anyone, just broke down and started writing a story about how he got revenge on everyone.
I promise you,
This-
revenge.
Oh. This is where the game actually kind of starts becoming a bit more difficult. But the game's difficulty is never really... I wouldn't say it's down to challenge, it's mostly that you can never really focus on one enemy at a time, and the game just drops numbers on you.
But I would assume with shitty AI would compensate for that.
Yeah, well, shit, yeah, it doesn't help the fact they have pretty good aim.
Oh.
Like, they can draw a bead on you mighty fast. It's not like you can take cover and just look. See, the moment they spotted me, I'm getting hit. Again, it's mostly a large amount of health that allows you to survive this fucking shit.
Well, that was a fun stroll through bullets.
Yeah, it was. I mean, this is pretty much Sarge's everyday life. Well, there's another note about the kind of gritty aspects of this game. In all the other games before it, The guns were meant to look plasticky as well, and I guess at some point they upgraded to metal, but no one really thought, let's make metal armor.
That's the plot for the next game, don't you know? Thing for the sequel that never got made, where they invent bionic freaking military personnel.
This is what kind of happens when you're maximum blown up.
Jesus Christ! You're right, it is like turn speed.
Yep. Light armor.
So since this war is pretty much their entire life, do you think just like from like birth, children, like there's like all the media and children are all brought up on like this concept of war?
I guess so. Maybe this is kind of like Valhalla in a way.
Nice little secret.
Remade like for constant combat until the plastic god comes back and you have to destroy that.
See, in terms of tone, I would always associate that more with TF2 than anything sort of like war Valhalla.
I think TV Tropes had that on the Wild Mass Guessing page for a few years now.
We're reenacting the script of this game.
Anger.
I kind of want to take a lot of Shadow's lines, just dub them over various video games, starting with this one.
Gonna sing.
Oh god, that... It would kind of work. Oh, I mean, both of them are pretty much the black sheep of a series that features a new, darker plot that doesn't exactly meld too well with new gameplay mechanics.
Peace treaty, I
case,
promise you revenge.
In this case, it's the lock-on and such, and the platforming is still shitty as ever.
God, it looks so twitchy.
It really is. Your character has no momentum or weight about him. I mean, I can predict the jumps, and I do know how far I'm going to go, in most cases by rocket launcher, for dealing with the occasional vehicular opponent. This level is really tedious, though.
Was it, like, I'm guessing that the capture software, like, brightened up the visuals a bit and it was actually much darker on your screen?
Actually, I think I brightened them up manually. I don't know, though. I think I brightened up this level and a couple of others. There is one or two levels in this game that I'll admit to enjoying.
Oh my god.
This isn't one.
How slanderous.
Everyone I love has died. How sweet it is that I blow up this tank. And that's one thing I want to mention. We found a flash. When you pick up those things and it plays that kind of cheery sound effect, it's so jarring with the game itself.
It sounds like an arcade sound effect, though.
Oh, it feels less so developed than an arcade game. But this is also where the loading screen rooms kind of really come into swing. Because, there are quite a few sections on this level, and some sections are a bit shorter than others. So you'll be seeing a loading screen every once in a while. And thanks to the, you know, amazing level design, the fact that areas don't totally look like each other, I'm having a very shitty time navigating this stage.
Wasn't this where we were earlier, but no, at night? Like,
No, this is different. So I hate that as well. The game has so many kind of, ways to... What's the word? What does gank mean in terms of gaming?
gank?
To be ganked. I swear I've heard that in, like, it's an MMO term, I think. I don't know. Feel free to correct me, but to my ganking, to unfairly damage the player by shit they can't predict.
Like the fact game design?
Yeah, you can go with that. The fact there's fucking air raids that you get like 2 seconds, no, less than that. You get like a minimum of 4 warning for the game to jip some health off of you.
You know, see, if I had a hole like that in my, like, just like my chest and I was a plastic army man, I would be just constantly sticking my hand through it.
Yeah.
Just for poops and giggles.
I'd kind of try and put one hand behind my back and one hand in front of me, and I'd try and like grasp them in the middle.
I maybe stick like a gun in there of some kind so that like my body reassembles with the gun and I can sort of fire out of my left boot.
That is incredible. Why weren't you in charge of the design team?
I know, just like hybriding yourself with weapons. Awesome.
Yeah. The thing about this is the whole idea of like an army where you're constantly building new units. It could go in such an interesting way if you present the story well, but this is just like a revenge plot. And it's not like they hadn't done this before, I suppose. But I just kind of think, as a real-time strategy game, this is a brilliant concept. As a third-person shooter, it could only ever be run-of-the-mill unless you actually work in plasticky gimmicks. And the level design it kind of caters to that, but it never really plays it up. It's just kind of like bland level design, but on a kind of larger scale. Or a smaller scale, rather. Great crates, they have objects in them.
Wow.
I know.
If only you had, do you like, is there like any kind of melee weapon to smack those crates open, or do you have to shoot them?
You have to shoot, there is no melee.
Oh.
Which gets problematic, because enemies like to crowd you later on. Or rather, you're in a confined environment and enemies spawn right around corners. And that auto-aim is still as bitchy as ever. There could be people right in front of you and it will still want to shoot the guy halfway across the room who's probably making his lunch.
But you know, now that I wonder, you know, like, what really dictates, like, the life of a plastic soldier? Like, if enough bits of him are blown off and then he dies, or what?
I don't know, this guy's responding pretty well to the fact that he no longer has a torso.
Yeah, I know. I kind of wish he'd, like, the top half of his body, like, sort of teetered to the right.
Just kind of leans a little bit.
Yeah.
I'd say throw your aiming off, but really the aiming is terrible enough that I wouldn't wish this. You can grenade cancel, which is something I kind of like. Well, you can't really grenade cancel so much as if you don't throw it in long enough, I guess he just puts the pin back and...
Well, that was a wasted effort.
Yeah, I'll try
He's
again.
like, player, come on, I wanted to throw this grenade, but no.
If you're not going to play along, you know, shit or get off the pot, mate. She's like, I hate that tank there. That's probably what killed me the most in this section, because the rocket launcher can destroy it, but I had to use all that up on the last tank.
Ready to rumble.
And nothing ever really hints to you to use grenades. They're really piss weak against, you know, vehicles in most cases. It is all just bad game design. I mean, this game, obviously, it's not unwinnable. It's actually quite an easy game. It's just the fact that it's also quite annoying.
Yeah, like, just, like, generally unfun.
Yeah. I mean, the plot is kind of fun, but it's fun in a way that... it's kind of like my philosophy to bad games is that I'll still play them through on a sense of I want to know what shit they're going to attempt next. Just, I want to see how far this can go downwards. And sadly, this doesn't actually go that far down, because the story is really thinly spread, which I guess was the smart move.
So is this game, like, laughably bad, or just sort of mediocre and unenjoyable in even a bad sense?
For the first couple of levels, it was the former, then it became the latter as it dragged on. And then it kind of developed into a Stockholm Syndrome, where I was enjoying myself in the sense that, well, I'm here now, I might as well attempt to enjoy myself.
Oh.
You know, that kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. The sniper rifle can blow off limbs, so it's kind of amusing for a lark. But I don't really feel any ill will towards the opponents. They just wanted the war to go on, you know, because it was their livelihood. They don't want to get thrown out of the job.
Yeah, I know, right? It's just, you know, yeah, like you said, a job. There's the war corporation.
They exist for war. I love the ending of this because it plays it up so cheesily and for so much drama when I honestly couldn't have given a fuck about a single character up to this point. It's like, again, I want to note during every kind of hard-boiled... Yeah, I jumped over here and jumping mechanics won't let me back out and I can't blow this up.
Wow, is there even anything in there?
I was sitting there and I was thinking, oh god, I'm going to have to re-record this.
Oh, wow.
I got so angry. I was getting angrier as I was jumping. Every failed jump made me sadder. Look at most of the combat is just shoot and strafing. But not like Serious Sam, where it's fun. Kind of like Army Men, Sarge's War, where it's not fun.
Yeah.
Shoot and strafe. Even though shoot and strafe doesn't really help that much.
So,
they'll most likely hit you anyway.
Was this always Sarge's war, or did he only recently commandeer it and make it his war? Does this war, does the possession of this war sort of go around in turns?
No. This is Sarge's jihad, more like. Kind of personal struggle or conflict brought on by... Yeah, look, the aim... I'm so scared of tanks because they can pretty much two-hit kill you. And the aiming is so finicky, I have like 2 seconds, because they can hit you pretty fast.
You know what would have made this cultural genocide complete?
What would have done that?
If Sarge was voiced by Nolan North.
That would have been great. I'm gonna have to look up who voices him now. There should be, like, a next-gen one of these games featuring procedural plastic damage.
Oh.
It would be great. Not canned plastic destruction. Procedural.
Oh, yes.
Come on, 3DO, I know you're dead. Kickstarter it. Like everyone who's been doing lately. Look how damaged, half his brain is destroyed.
I don't think there was anything to hit there in the first place.
He's just programmed to be angry and warlike.
And go, "Arrgh, arrgh."
I don't remember if I leave a death in here.
Whoa.
I must have left one in. Whether by accident or otherwise.
So wait, is that 3 at the top right corner? Is that your health?
Yep, you have 300 health.
Oh.
I don't know why it's 300 health. I don't know why that's the number that they decided on in the meeting. I actually will attribute everything bad in this game to bad game design, because of one detail that I'm not going to give away, but I assure you, you will laugh at it. I'm actually looking forward to how bad this is.
Can't wait.
And it's right at the end.
Aww.
I know. We're sitting through all of this to get to the end.
All how many parts?
Pretty much all media. 9 parts.
Okay.
It's not a long game. It's only 2 hours of suffering for both of us.
Alright.
There's part 3 and we're already talking
Well, you know,
about...
Snake, you need games like this to appreciate the better games in life.
That's what I always thought. I played this piece of shit, and now I'm enjoying everything else a lot more.
You see?
Win. I love that as well. Win level. I can walk to the end and just press the win button.